everybody, welcome back to Smooth Jazz Radio, the only radio station that combines smoothness with jazz to create smooth jazz. Yeah, that's right. So coming in at number 1 on the jazz charts is the artist Funky Buttstraps with his new single, Smooth Balls. So take it away, Funky Buttstraps. Hey girl, you wanna sit on some smooth balls? Yeah, you do. Come on over here and sit on my balls. Girl, you know you will feel enthralled. I got the smoothest balls around.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zach, and welcome to Outlast. Now if you're a fan of horror games, then you're probably familiar with the title, but on the other hand, if this doesn't strike your fancy, then I would click away like the little baby bitch boy that you are.
But you don't say that.
Shut up. Daddy only needs big boys. Anyway, this game is known for a few key factors, being scary as having blood and intestines scattered all over the place,
I don't know what this is, but it's kind of hot.
and not having many options to defend yourself. Now, I played this game back in 2015, and I remember being quite a fan of it, and that's part of the reason I'm doing a video on it today. But with a twist. While this game already proves to be terrifying, slow-paced, and very dark, I thought to myself, well, what can I do to make it even more difficult? And then it hit me. Why not take away the main mechanic that the game intends for you to use? So today we are going to ask the question of, can you beat— Ooh, Mr. Zachary, are you gonna try to beat the game on the hardest difficulty? What the f***? Timmy, how did you get out of my basement? It was quite simple, really. What? No, I don't care about that. Just get your ass over here.
You'll have to catch me first. You'll never. Oh, no, Mr. Zachary, no, what are you doing with a bat? No, please, Mr.
Okay. Alright. Well, that takes care of that. Now back to the video. Before that little punk interrupted me, I was wondering if you could beat Outlast without running.
You what?
I know it sounds ridiculous, but come on, I'm all about ridiculous. As for the rules, there's only one. Just like Walt Jr., you cannot excessively use the ability of your legs.
Just fucking die already. Just give up and die.
Bitch!
So that means for the majority of this run, we will be going at Mach 0 speed. Sounds like some pretty riveting gameplay, wouldn't you say? But luckily for us, we have the physique of Steve Rogers, fresh out of the mechanical womb. And by that, I just mean that we can hop around as if we were hyped up on Mountain Dew 24/7. So after I pulled up to the insane asylum, I found a way inside through an open window, and let me tell you, as soon as I set foot in this place, I've never felt so uneasy in my life. My balls receded into my body faster than you can say women aren't funny. My first encounter with anything was with a man who seemed to enjoy this kind of torture pleasure because he had a whole rod up his ass, but the main point is he told me that I needed to get out of this terrible place before it was too late. I casually ignored him. Before I was able to snoop around anymore, I was grabbed by what looked to be Shrek.
What are you doing in my swamp?
I woke up to a priest who looked like he wanted something from me, so I went back to sleep, allowing him to do as he pleased. But once I woke up again, I finally realized it was time to get out of this shithole. My plan was to access the security room to unlock the main doors. Along the way, I found some chaps watching quality television. I picked up the keycard to the room off of some poor soul, and I was on my way. As I made my way back, I came across a few other things, and let me tell you, Jesus, oh my god, what the fuck? Anyway, I made my way to security and started to access the security system when of course something had to go wrong. That priest that touched me up earlier is now doing me dirty. The next objective was clear. I needed to turn the power back on, but before I could do so, Shrek was coming for me. I hid in the locker to hopefully avoid his onion-drenched peen. Oh god, oh shit, oh no. Yeah, so now we have to go down into the basement, and no, it's not my basement.
You can do it, Mr. Zachary.
Timmy, I told you to shut up!
Oh no, not again.
Okay, let's go into the basement. The game immediately seems scarier once you get to use night vision, so here we go, I guess. There were a few things that I needed to do in order to restore power. I needed to turn on 2 gas pumps and a switch on the main breaker. After I had successfully activated one pump, I heard a strange noise. I decided to hide under the bed. Soon enough, my batteries ran out, but by the time I reloaded the battery, my pursuer had already burst into my room like a motivated father on a Sunday morning. Before I knew it, I turned on the next gas pump, switched on the main breaker, and hit the final button to turn the power back on. I then made my way back upstairs to the security room with hopes of achieving my escape, but only to be greeted by who I thought was Bill Cosby.
Get ready for the most splendiferous pudding pop you have ever seen!
And just like his other victims, I woke up somewhere random without remembering what had happened the previous night. It then appeared that I found myself in a prison block with a bunch of crazy men that had mutilated bodies and disgusting deformities. I then encountered two fully naked gentlemen that didn't have very nice things to say about me.
I want his tongue and liver. They are yours.
I then came across a man who kept spouting nonsense.
Down the drain, down the drain, down the drain, down the drain, down the drain.
I almost felt like I needed to go down the drain. So that's exactly what I did.
お前はもう死んでいる。
Deja vu, I've just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa, deja vu, I've just been in this time before. Higher on the beat, and I know it's a place to go.
And if you see a big red button, you have to push it. That's just the law of horror games. To my surprise, Shrek showed up again to greet me.
Ogres are like onions!
I clenched my ass cheeks as I hopped away in hopes to become safe, but I was blown away even deeper into this asylum. I fell a long way down, and I'm surprised I'm okay, but something broke my fall. But it just so happens that I find this pile of things to be too gruesome for the human eye, so here's a video of a dog running through tall grass. I then found myself in a sewer with the goal of draining some excess water to clear a path for me. But what do you know? That deformed, overweight, empty-minded, stupid idiot followed me down here. He made my task down here twice as hard, constantly putting the pressure on me to jump away in fear of being torn apart. But all it took was some calm recollection of my thoughts, and I was able to patiently turn the valves, clearing my path. But as soon as I got back to where I needed to go, Shrek was fast on my ass, so I jumped down the hole instead of using the ladder, killing me instantly and sending me into a temper tantrum because I had to do the whole part again. My life. I then came to a fork in the road, so I had to make a tough decision. Either Peen or Bob's. Quite a tough choice, I know, but I think I chose the right one. But the door was locked, so I had to turn around. Diving deeper into the sewers, I found myself at an open-ended pool of water with complete darkness, and with no other options, I jumped straight in. I started to hear something.
Maybe I could have decapitated an entire village and put their heads on a pike. Got a knife, cut open their spleen and drink their fluids.
So I zoomed in and I couldn't flipping believe it. How the freak is this guy still following me? It's quite annoying, to be honest. Also, I think hearing these kinds of noises are definitely the scariest because it usually means the enemy found you and, well, it's just frightening. I then found out you can't jump upstairs, so that's pretty dope. And then I tried jumping to the ladder that I needed to use, but I'm just such a little baby bitch, I guess, because I couldn't make it. Knockoff idiot Shrek then glitched inside the stairs, making my getaway easier, but before I left, I admired his beautiful flesh. I made my bunny hop and I was on to the next area. I started to be chased by some whimsy casuals, but they weren't the problem. I came to one of those jumps that required a prior sprint in order to be able to make it, so I was a little worried. But I got bailed out because if you jump on the very tip of the edge, then you can make it just far enough to be able to spawn in the next checkpoint. I was then baited into an escape route by a doctor who I thought was a friend, but in reality was a foe. I've never felt so betrayed in my life. He then strapped me up in a wheelchair and rolled me to his beauty shop. But I did have a nice view. He then told me he was going to give me a manicure, and at first I was pretty excited, but when he went to trim my nails, I think he missed.
You paying attention?
Yeah, he missed a few times. I may have 8 fingers, but I only need 2. Since the doctor is an ignoramus, yeah, that's right, I know big words, he didn't strap me in that well, so I was able to get away. I made my way to an elevator and actually enjoyed myself for a few moments. But then of course he found me, and this time he tried to cut something else off, if you know what I mean. But too bad for him, I'm a strong manly man that eats meat and drinks beer, so I was able to fend him off, letting the elevator do the dirty work for me. I started to become friends with that priest who touched me in my sleep because he was trying to help me escape. So my next plan of action was to figure out a way to meet up with him. But along the way, I came across a sensual bath between two best friends that I just had to share with you.
Have a dirty little ducky that needs cleaning.
You were welcome for that, by the way. I had to go outside, but I'm not going to show any more of it than this because you can barely see a thing, and that's not so fun. So to sum it up, I basically got lost for the majority of the time I was out there, and I had to turn on a few generators to start up some power. Okay, let's go back inside. I came to another jump that I spent multiple attempts on and due to carry on. I want to thank Lord Raiden and the rest of the Elder Gods for giving me the strength to achieve this feat. I then did another petty task, gathering power sources, so I could get a key to where I needed to go. That led me to yet another hard-ass jump that tested my will to live. This one was definitely a challenge, and was difficult, but it wasn't any match for me. My hind legs don't get scared too easily. Once I made it by the tip of my skin flute, I dropped my f***ing camera. Of all the shit that could go wrong, oh my god, that was literally my only way of seeing through the shadows. So I ventured down some dark hallways, I met a friend, and surprisingly, I easily found it. I picked it up and found that it had a crack in it, but that's okay because... Yeah, I nearly shit myself, but it's okay because I have commitment issues, so I'm used to running away. Well, in this case, jumping. I found my way into a theater room, and I took this time to gather myself and indulge in some quality TV.
Okay, guys, are you ready?
The sexual priest man invited me to his crucifixion party, and I didn't bring a present, so he said that I can just record it as a parting gift. He definitely seemed to be enjoying it. But I bid him farewell and took the key that he left for me in order to gain my escape. I noticed those naked brothers were here, and they seemed to be friendly, so I wanted to get a closer look at them. I'm not sure why this was here, but well, we won't touch that. But I will say one thing.
Whoa. Nice cock.
Entering a new hallway, I saw something that made me soil myself.
Oh, hello.
I then hopped like hell all the way down this hallway, praying he wouldn't catch my ass. I was lucky enough to be able to evade Idiot Boy. I then used the key that the sex priest left me and made my way out of the asylum, beating Outlast without running. No, not actually, because the elevator decided that it didn't want to let me out. Instead, it thought it would be a good idea to bring me all the way downstairs. And now I'm sure you can guess what I have to do. Find another way out. After wandering around, I found what I thought would be my escape, but an alarm sounded and a f***ing ghost appeared. Why in the ass is there a ghost here? That's my question. I tried jumping away, but before I could, he unconsensually entered my body. After trying that again, I jumped a little faster this time to get away. I approached a door, and what is this, like the 20th time I came across Ugly Shrek Man? But this time was different. I had to sit there and watch as my only true friend was getting his ass eaten out. I know we had our differences, and he always wanted to rip my head off, but I feel like he was the only one that actually understood me. Well, anyway, I had to move on, so here we go. I met up with a talking vegetable that told me how to defeat the ghost. I would need to shut off its life support because it's tethered to a human body. I then hopped all over the place with my monstrous calves in search of the room that I needed to find. I found the main room that had most of what I needed. The new goal that popped up meant that I needed to find another room to allow me to deactivate the life support. First, I easily found the valve that I needed and turned that shit off. Ghostman started chasing me, but this time I precisely placed my jumps and zooted out of there because I am Sonic. Okay, so there was one last thing I needed to do before I could shut off life support. I had to cut off the electricity supply. I faced a few dilemmas in this next objective. There are two things that can ruin this run: stairs and long jumps. This room had both. At first, I tried jumping into the stairs as I approached a new set, but it wasn't fast enough. Ghost Bitch could still catch me. Then I tried jumping diagonally up the stairs, but that too did not work. Ghost Dick could still catch me. After a long trial and error process, I seem to have perfected the technique. If you jump approximately at the same time that the Ghost Man swings at you, then you will have enough time to keep jumping up the stairs and make it to the top. I felt very accomplished after doing that, but the next part made it even worse. It was a long jump. Now I approached this from all angles. First was the straight across jump, but to no avail, it didn't work. I tried jumping diagonally, but that didn't work either. Unfortunately, there was just no way to do it. The only way to do it was to sprint. Well, anyway, I jumped through some darkness, barely making it to the next room. I disabled the electricity supply, and now I only needed to do one thing. On the way back, you can just jump off the broken bridge, because Ghostman picks you up and plays catch with you before tossing you to the ground in hopes of killing you. But before he had the chance to do so, I turned on my turbo boosters and jumped like there was no tomorrow, because there wouldn't be if I didn't make it to that button in time. I did one final jump, and the game was completed. It turns out you can't beat Outlast without running. I know you're upset, but hey, we gave it a valiant effort. Even though we failed this challenge, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole journey, just as much as I almost shit myself looking around every corner of this place. And I hope you guys liked the video, and if you like the content, go ahead and subscribe. Maybe even hit the like button? What? Hit the dislike button if you disliked it. It's not like it affects me. But without further ado, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.